Do you know what one of the worst feelings there are for a doctor? It's when you find out your patient went to another doctor to get the same services you were delivering for them. I hated that. And the reason why patients leave is not rocket science. We've been able to distill it down in our doctor's data. And I'm going to give you the 3 things that you can do to make sure you never lose a patient again. Tip number 1 is almost a backwards, upside down way of looking at this. But after working with so many doctors, I see it time and time again where you are actually over-delivering for a patient. A patient shows up, they get their adjustment, and then they have several questions for you where they want you to check this and want you to check that. The 3 to 5 minute visit ends up turning into a 7 to 20 minute visit. And once you start creating that habit for a patient, they end up taking and taking and taking from you. You've got to be very clear on how they receive the value and within what time frame they're receiving that value. That treatment should be very protected to a short period of time, recognizing that then you're going to give the value to the patient on a re-exam. It's in the re-exam that you're going to now have a chance to ask the questions. But a simple way for you to make sure a patient feels like they have access to you and can get answers pretty quickly is just simply at the beginning of their care plan, train them, let them know that by having your email, that they can ask questions throughout their treatment plan and receive an answer within 24 to 48 hours. That way a patient feels like they have access, but they're not going to slow down the treatment plan. You don't have to feel like you have to answer every question and check every single thing on them, because that is the fastest way for you to actually lose value within your practice. All right, before I jump into tip number 2, if you're new to our channel and our community, I really want to make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notifications so that you can be in our community and the first to know every single new great episode that drops on this channel. So subscribe, turn on notifications. Let's keep this community growing. All right, tip number 2 is understanding what we call a patient value ladder. The reason why a lot of your patients leave you is they're just not aware of what's the next step in your progression. A value ladder is something where a patient comes in the beginning, typically motivated by pain. But then what's the next step as soon as they're out of pain? And you and I both know that just because a patient's out of pain doesn't mean that they're stabilized enough that the pain's not just going to come back, or the next time they're under a little bit of stress, it just won't immediately be triggered again. A patient needs to understand that now that I'm out of pain, how do I stay out of pain? And your value ladder is what clearly defines that. We go through the step-by-step process of your value ladder in our challenge, what we call the Turn Your Data into Dollars Challenge, which is a free 10-day challenge that you can participate in. And if you post below in the comments, challenge, we will make sure you get the link to sign up. It's free, and you can learn all about patient value ladders in that challenge. And while you're waiting for the next challenge to start, I want you to click this and go watch this video called Why We Founded the Data-Driven Practice. This story can help set you free of why I had to build this community, why we had to build data-driven tools, because we wanted to deliver better patient outcomes. We wanted to grow a bigger team. We wanted to have more impact in our community. And I really think that that story will help you see your potential and what you could become. So click and watch that video while you're waiting for the challenge to happen. But now let me give you tip number 3 in helping to never lose a patient again. One of the things in a patient value ladder that we talk about are these hinge points where they're transitioning. And we built our value ladder around the phases of care, meaning acute to subacute, subacute to now stability, stability into wellness. Each one of those is a treatment plan, and that treatment plan has a transition point. But the last thing you want to do is have a patient ever say this: I am so excited that I only have 3 appointments left. Well, you know what that means? That's like starting a diet. And let's say it's a 90-day diet. And on day 87, telling all your friends, I am so excited, my diet's almost over. Well, you gotta realize that if you're gonna diet There's the ability to maintain what you've lost. So yeah, maybe you went through a 90-day sprint to create transformation, but now how do I maintain transformation? Well, if that works for a diet, doesn't it work for your healthcare plans? And we have got to change, we've got to flip the switch of our patients way sooner than the last day of their appointment. If you're trying to introduce the next phase of care on the last visit, they're coming in with anticipation that they're done, and now you're telling them that they're not done, and there's going to be horrible disappointment for that patient. So when is the best time to introduce those phases? And we have found that it's just best to be very clear with the patient in the report of findings, showing them a map of the value ladder and the transitional points through that. And based upon that patient's healthcare goals, they will participate in the different phases so that we can help them reach those healthcare goals. So now they see the map. They understand that this is just the phase, the first phase, the 90-day sprint to transform. And then the next phase is beginning to help stabilize that transformation. And then the next phase is to help maintain the transformation. You get my point. So educating that patient, you should actually have very specific dates between the transitional points where the patient's aware of it. We talk about it, we prepare them, and then when we propose the next phase and what that looks like and the investment, they are just all on board because they had bought into it really from the very beginning. That is the power of making sure that we never lose a patient. There's clear agreements, there's clear expectations. They have a clear understanding of your roadmap. They understand that you offer far more than just treating the symptom. And when patients understand that, they feel connected in their agreements. You're keeping your agreements, they're keeping their agreements. Good agreements create affinity between us and the patient. And that creates the dream practice that we are trying to build that is not only transforming patients' lives, it's transforming your profit margins so that you can build the impact that you're building in your community. This is the data-driven practice. Come join our free community where we have the opportunity for you to sign up for our challenge. Again, it's a 10-day challenge where we will walk you through the steps to become a data-driven practice. We'll go over that patient value ladder and show you exactly how to implement that so that we can show you how to use your data to transform your practice. We have another challenge starting soon, so hurry and click below. I will see you on the challenge.